What is up, guys? Back in today with another reaction to the Apothecary Diaries, this time with Season 2, Episode 10. Really interesting episode last time out. It was crazy at the end of the episode, seeing the whole revenge of... I've been called a Dowager, and apparently that's just like a title for a widow, so I don't think I'm going to get out of calling her a Dowager, but the Dowager Empress, I guess we'll call her. Yeah, seeing her revenge on the old emperor, and it was a really interesting topic of discussion. Actually, I saw in quite a few comment sections a lot of people actually sympathizing with the emperor, and I can see that to a certain extent. He definitely seemed to be kind of abused by his mother, and she didn't seem like a great woman, and he definitely had some mental issues in terms of being an adult kind of kid, but I don't think it was anything to... Again, I can understand the sympathy. I don't personally feel that way. I didn't feel any sympathy. Maybe it's a me experience thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't feel for him in that whole episode. To be honest with you, I felt for the old Empress Dowager and what happened to her, having her belly cut at that age and have to deal with that, and then having all these feelings all these years later, enough to do that to him. It's quite insane. Much more of a brutal episode than I was expecting. Of course, we did find out what was keeping the dead body of him in good condition as well, being that kind of metallic substance, gold-like substance that we did see also Jinchi have in a dream, I'm pretty sure. So, or he had it when he was younger or something along those lines. It was it's popped up before, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what we got today. Let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you guys do like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. You know what the fucking saying. I struggle enough with the Chinese names in general, let alone these three women. Although I do think the Chinese names are a little bit easier to remember than the Korean names. Oh shit. Nest. You could say it's a nest, a web. They are indeed. Yeah, look at them all lined up. There's a lot of people there, isn't there? We still really don't know much about her at all, do we? I say that every week. That woman, I'm not sure which one. I imagine that's the one we talked to earlier. She's taken quite an interest in Mama, hasn't she? Understandably so. Oh no. What were you going to be doing here? I really like this new girl that we're seeing a lot of this season. Again, she's got similar interests to me, so. I don't know. What do you mean by that? Some kind of haunted house? What is this? Oh, the music's just changed as well. What is going on here, bro? It's like ghost stories? Some kind of ritual? What is this? You don't want to get involved in this, Mau Mau. There's some witchcraft shit going on. So it is ghost stories. Okay. I like, you guys know I love my horror. Horror and mystery usually goes really well hand in hand. Didn't we see that? Maybe my memories. No, I don't think we saw that. There was something similar that did happen in season one though, with the woman strolling around the Yeah, I feel like that's familiar as well. Like I said, I feel like we covered that in season one. Something similar. I wonder what. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Mau Mau's got, as well as the Bug Girl. Oh dear. Yeah, the reactions are very different now, aren't they? Hidden Forest. Crap. They're dead. Holy crap. Hmm. Looks like a skeleton. So, do you reckon that was just the mushrooms that killed them? I mean, picking up random shit in the forest and eating it definitely is not the smartest thing to do. I mean, when you're desperate, you're desperate. Like, don't get me wrong, but Mau Mau already knows. You already figured that out. What story you got for us then, Mau Mau? Yeah, that's not her turn just yet. See, imagine doing this in that our day and age. No one would answer the door, first of all, let alone actually let you in. Quite interesting. I always think about how we've moved so far forward, progressed so far. Yeah, in some aspects, have actually gone so far back. Oh fuck, that was one big. I forget what that's called, but that always reminds me of Reina from Higurashi. You usually see like maidens with that. Holy crap. Hmm. Good story. That was a good one. I mean, it definitely wasn't real. Maybe it was. Maybe a few aspects. Interesting one. I like that. That was definitely the scariest one. Yeah. Maybe it was. Maybe it could be real, but just like a few aspects changed. Maybe there's a few. You usually hear that with a lot of like urban legends and stuff. They're usually based off something that has been wildly kind of changed. A bit like what we call in the UK Chinese whispers. I can't remember. No, again, I still don't know why it's called Chinese whispers. Um, but yeah, it's like when you hear something and the story gets changed, the more it's kind of told to other people. So what wings were these? What creature? Hard to tell what creature, what bug that is. To be honest, just a big old pair of wings. Interesting. I do just want to go back quickly. I also feel like, am I getting the bug girl mixed up? Like these two girls next to Mao Mao look slightly similar, so I feel like I'm mixing the two of them up. So apologies if I have been. I think it's because they got the same color hair. They got different styles of hair though. So what were these people? It looks like a cricket, like a big cricket. I don't know if you guys have seen. What's that movie with the ants? With all those ants, I forget what it's called, but she looks like one of those. Yeah, she looks like one of those from that movie. They're always quite horrifying to me as a kid. Ant's tail? I don't know. And she made the right decision there, didn't he? It is good. Mostly fireball. You know Tama. Fire soul spirits. Not the greatest at telling stories, is she? She ruined her own story. I think I spoke about that before. How again, and I did study history of medicine, and for a long time, the only thing you could do as a practicing doctor was to you couldn't experiment on people. Obviously, there wasn't like equipment to even practice like experiment on fake people. They had to dig up dead bodies and have to. I mean, this is different. This is a grave robber, but they'd have to dig up dead bodies and practice. Uh, what's it called? Sorry, I don't want to miss anything, so I'm just gonna rewind. But yeah, they'd have to practice. I'm forgetting what it's called now. Like removing fingers or limbs. Yeah, I don't know the medical word for it, so apologies. It's such a simple word as well; it just eludes me. But yeah, they'd have to practice a lot on the. I mean, it was considered very immoral, and I think it was illegal. But how else are you meant to become a doctor if you've got like no way of practicing? That was I think I studied that around the same time they were making the first kind of anesthetics, like proper anesthetics, not just the cloth on the mouth, and which was very dangerous because that could kill someone by itself, using chloroform and so on, depending on the dose. But that was always a part of that subject that I was really interested in. But I recently did watch a TV show that from Del Toro. Can't remember what the name of the show, but it was like an anthology horror series, and there was one about someone that would dig up the graves. There was a load of rats, and it was quite a good one. It's quite a good one. There was a few good episodes of that. Sorry to pause again, guys. I was yapping. um. Uh. What is it called? See, that's the thing. I get like hung up on this kind of stuff, so I want to find out for you guys what it is called. If you guys want to check it out, Cabinet of Curiosities. Let's come up right there. Yeah, it's like an anthology. There was a really good one about dissection of like a. That was probably my favorite episode of that series. There was one specific longer episode about somebody getting like dissected and being a corpse. That was a really good one. One of the lesser good ones, but still an interesting one, was the one I was just talking about there with someone like grave robbing, I think, and then them ending up in like a tunnel of graves where there's like mutant giant rat things, and it's quite fun. Definitely check that out if you're a fan of horror. I love my anthologies myself, so yeah. But like I said, there's one episode, I think it's about midway through, about um it's got this really old great actor in it, and it's pretty much just him in a room. I think someone that comes back to life after getting dissected or something. I can't quite remember. She is talking absolute facts here, isn't she? They're getting drugged. They're getting high. Was that intentional? Why does she sound like a good? What the hell's going on here? She actually like, was she real? Was she a ghost? That seems intentional then. I mean, we haven't seen anything supernatural from this series, so I struggle to believe she's actually a ghost. But the way she appeared there, is she a ghost? Japan loves their ghost woman, so wouldn't be too surprising. Well, I imagine the reason it became taboo is because there was food that could kill you in there. Yeah, it's probably why they started making up stories about it. Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? Those look like some nuclear mushrooms right there. They do say, like you see with insects, they usually have like a bright color, like a red or a yellow. See it with spiders quite often to signify that they're dangerous. The more colourful and such that they are, the more poisonous they are a lot of the time. I think it's probably quite similar with fungus and food like that. I imagine. I don't know. I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't be eating any bright green mushrooms. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that last one, that ghost woman talking, was literally just speaking absolute facts about what we covered last couple of episodes. It was that was the real horrific story there, to be honest, wasn't it? The actual truth of what happened that we learned about last episode was the most horrific thing we've heard. So I think that other woman that just ran off there was the bug girl. So apologies about that. Again, they got similar hair color, so mistaken them. I mean, that's quite sad that that was her only source of enjoyment. But again, I say that I'm a big fan of horror movies. So what does that make me? There's a certain thrill in this, isn't there? Hmm. She'd be good at as like an anthology kind of presenter. 13 Ghosts is also it's one of the earliest horror movies I watched, so that obviously comes to mind. And talking about 13 ghost stories, it's a fun one. Yeah, I say my favourite anthology horror movie is probably Trick or Treat. I think Tales from the Crypt definitely close second. I think not Tales from the Crypt. Sorry, Creep Show. I think Tales from the Crypt is a TV. I've never watched that one. I think that's a TV series, but yeah, Creep Show one is probably my second favorite. Creep Show two is I think maybe one of the first horror movies I ever watched, and that terrified me. Yeah, good episode there. Like I said, as a fan myself, I enjoyed this episode quite a bit. I did actually just miss what Jinchi was doing here at the end. Probably just thinking about what's happened over the last few episodes. I imagine his position. We've been covering a lot of family situations, so though I say that, we haven't seen too much of Jinchi's kind of thoughts on things in that regard, have we? Over his last few episodes, it's just being extra Jinchi, wasn't he? Okay, so what we got next week? In dramatically put his cup down like that. We got some testing. Oh, we got a cute dog. The hunt. So there's that frog. I always see people talking about a fucking frog. I'm not sure what it's about. I've got no idea what it's about. Um, again, I said earlier about how insects and such can be very colourful and poisonous. I think it's the same for frogs. I'm not sure if it is exactly the case, but I think there's a lot of very poisonous frogs out there. I'm not sure if they're all colourful or not. I think when I do actually think of poisonous frogs, they're not too colourful, but yeah, I always think of like people like licking them and getting like high off licking like the toxins of like a frog. Don't ask me why. But yeah, I keep hearing people talk about this frog segment or whatever in this. And another thing that comes to mind is I think it's like a Cinderella story or something, right, about like a frog getting kissed and like turning into a prince or something. So I kind of I think of that kind of weird side of people getting high off frogs, and then I think of the side of being quite romantic. So I've got no real idea what to expect for this frog situation, but I hear people comment on about it every time I watch an episode of Apothecary Diaries, and I go to like look up what people think about this episode, and people are just like, the frog section's coming up. They started out even at the start of the season, people were saying that the frog section's coming up soon, and it's like, all these guys so hope for about a frog. But yeah, looking forward to it because again, I've been hearing a lot of hype for it. Don't understand it, but yeah, not sure where we're at in this shot right here, but it looks quite beautiful, doesn't it? Got a nice shot of Jinchi carrying Mao Mao as well here, and the inevitable frog is here. So yeah, looking forward to it. Again, really good episode today. A couple of ghost stories here. Bit of a supernatural episode, perhaps. Maybe it was just another woman filling in the place of the old woman that liked telling these stories. But I, I'm inclined to think that that was a ghost, honestly, and maybe because there wasn't a curse on the old emperor's body, perhaps there wasn't a curse on him per se, or maybe there was, and maybe it was just a coincidence that the that material that kind of preserved dead bodies was there. Maybe that didn't actually affect him. Maybe that's just coincidence, and it was actually a curse, and that tied to that curse there might be some ghosts of what he'd done as well, perhaps. So I think you can take it how you want to, can't you? I don't think there's any kind of definitive answer. But yeah, again, I do have to apologise for getting the bug woman mixed up with this other woman. Again, they look quite similar, so yeah, apologies about that. That's all. That's going to be an issue for me for a while. So yeah, you might have to deal with that for a bit. But Oh, and I think it was intentional that that ghostly woman was actually trying to bloody kill them all as well. And that would have been the 13th story that she could tell next time, perhaps. Which yeah, just a fun episode today, wasn't it? Let me know, guys. I mean, it had a little bit to do with what the story was that she was telling there at the end, but it was almost a bit like an episodic episode. It didn't really kind of relate to much, I don't think, anyway, unless any of you guys know it does relate to what we've been covering recently. But yeah, again, let me know you guys thought in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you guys would like, and subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date. And I'll see you guys next week with what is the highly anticipated frog episode, I do believe.